Most men think the secret to intimacy lies in what happens under the sheets. But here's a truth that may surprise you, especially if you're over 50. For women, the deepest sparks of desire are often not found in the bedroom at all. They are hidden in quiet, overlooked places on her body, places you may never have thought to kiss. Yet, when touched with care, they can awaken emotions and physical closeness far stronger than you ever imagined. Hello, I'm Dr. Rachel Myers, MD, a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist with more than 20 years of experience helping women navigate menopause, hormonal shifts, and intimate wellness after 60. I've listened to thousands of women share what truly makes them feel cherished, safe, and deeply connected to their partners. And I know how powerful the smallest gestures can be. Here's the paradox. These spots are not the obvious ones. They aren't the glamorous places men brag about, and they don't look sexual at first glance. Yet, when your lips find them, they light up the bonding centers of her brain, unlocking trust and closeness in ways that younger men often overlook. Stay with me, because in this video, I'll reveal 5 doctor-backed, science-up supported kissing spots that spark both emotional and physical intimacy in women over 50. These are not tricks, but real ways to bring her a sense of being valued, desired, and safe in your presence. And before we finish, I'll also share one simple, unforgettable gesture so powerful it melts her defenses instantly. Once you learn this, intimacy will never feel the same again. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future advice on building lasting intimacy and connection after 50. And I'd love to hear from you. If this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0 and share how I can bring you even more value next time. Now, let's begin with the very first spot, one that carries far more power than most men realize. It's not flashy or obvious, yet when kissed with patience, it awakens trust, memory, and deep devotion. I'm talking about the tender nape of her neck. 1. The nape of her neck. There is something almost sacred about the back of a woman's neck, that tender stretch of skin just beneath her hairline. Over the years in my practice, I have heard women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s describe how a single, well-placed kiss there could stay with them for days, sometimes even for years. They weren't talking about fiery passion or dramatic gestures. They were describing moments of pure devotion, times when they felt safe enough to close their eyes and surrender completely. The nape of the neck is not simply a physical spot. It is a doorway into trust, into memory, into the softer emotions that make intimacy feel like love rather than performance. When you approach this place, do it slowly. Brush her hair aside with care, not urgency. Let her feel your breath before your lips. Pause so she knows you are present. Then kiss gently, without rushing, without pressing for more. That stillness, that patience, sends a message that words cannot capture. It tells her she is cherished. It tells her she belongs. And for many women, especially those who may quietly carry insecurities about aging, that kiss reminds them they are still deeply desired. From a physiological perspective, the nape is filled with sensitive nerve endings tied to the LBIC system, the part of the brain that governs emotion and memory. That means a kiss here travels inward, igniting far more than physical sensation. It awakens recollections of first love, of youthful longing, of moments when she felt truly seen. I have had women tell me it almost feels spiritual, as if that kiss can cut through the years and bring them back to a time when intimacy felt effortless. But beyond science, there is something profoundly human about this gesture. To kiss the nape is to honor her vulnerability. She cannot see you when you are behind her. She must trust you. And when she gives that trust, when she feels your lips on that hidden place, the intimacy becomes unforgettable. Many men make the mistake of being too hurried, too forceful, treating the neck like a place of conquest. But a slow, reverent kiss turns it into an offering of love. And if the nape of her neck is about trust and devotion, then the next secret spot may surprise you even more, because it carries a private kind of magic that most men completely overlook. 2. Just behind her ear, there is a secret place on a woman's body that most men walk past without a thought. And yet, it holds a kind of intimacy so powerful that it can change the entire mood of the moment. I am talking about the tender space just behind her ear. Over the years, I've had countless women confide in me about how a kiss there made them feel. They weren't describing a bold, fiery move that belonged in a romance novel. What they shared were memories of feeling chosen, of feeling like they mattered in a way that was deeply personal. That spot, hidden from the world, has always been reserved for quiet whispers, for laughter and confidence, for secrets shared in hushed tones. When your lips find it, you are stepping into her private world, a place she does not share with just anyone. At first glance, it may not seem sensual, but that is the beauty of it. The simplicity and subtlety make it far more powerful than men realize. A gentle kiss behind her ear sends a ripple through her body that is both physical and emotional. Physiologically, this small area is incredibly sensitive. Light touch there connects directly to the brain's pleasure and bonding centers, and even helps release oxytocin, hormone of trust and closeness. It is no wonder that women describe feeling a sudden warmth, sometimes even a shiver that runs down their spine when kissed there with tenderness. But what makes this moment unforgettable is not just biology, it is presence. Too many men rush in with urgency, nibbling or attacking as if more force creates more excitement. But for a woman, especially one in her 50s or 60s, the true magic lies in restraint. When you linger, when you kiss softly, when you whisper her name or a gentle word in her ear, the intimacy deepens beyond measure. It says to her, I am not here to hurry through you. I am here to savor you. And that kind of patience, that kind of attention, is what makes her feel not only desired, but truly seen. I have had women describe it to me as if time itself stops, as though in that moment nothing exists except the closeness between two people. That kind of stillness born from a kiss behind the ear becomes a memory she carries with her. And if this hidden spot can stir such powerful connection, then imagine what happens when you turn your attention to an even smaller, quieter place, one tied to her very heartbeat, the delicate inner wrist. 3. The inner wrist. There is something almost poetic about the inside of a woman's wrist, a place so delicate that many men hardly give it a second glance. And yet, when kissed with patience and intention, it can unlock a depth of closeness that no grand gesture could ever replace. I have had women sitting across from me in my office lower their voice and tell me that the most unforgettable kiss they ever received wasn't on their lips or even on their neck. It was on their wrist. At first, I thought they were exaggerating, but after hearing it again and again, I realized that the inner wrist is more than skin. It is a symbol. It is the rhythm of her life beating just beneath the surface. When you take her hand, lift it slowly and press your lips softly against the tender skin inside her wrist, you are not only acknowledging her body, you are acknowledging her essence, the thinness of the skin, the steady pulse, the warmth beneath your mouth. It all creates a moment that feels almost sacred. Women in their 50s, 60s, and beyond often tell me that a kiss here makes them feel profoundly noticed. Not for how they look, not for the parts of them that the world judges, but for the simple truth that they are alive, present, and worthy of being cherished. The science behind this is fascinating. The inner wrist is packed with sensitive nerve endings, and gentle stimulation here activates parts of the brain associated with empathy and emotional awareness. That is why a kiss in this place feels like more than affection. It feels like connection. It bridges the gap between body and soul, reminding her that she is seen in her wholeness, not rushed or overlooked. For many women, especially those who have spent years caring for others, this tiny act of reverence speaks volumes. But what moves me most is not just the science, it is the stories. A woman once told me that when her husband kissed her wrist during a quiet evening at home, she felt as if time slowed. She said it wasn't about lust, it was about belonging. That one kiss told her that after decades together, he still cherished the smallest parts of her. And that is the real power of this gesture. It tells her she matters. And if such a small, tender spot can stir such powerful feelings, just imagine what happens when you bring that same reverence to a place closer to her heart, both literally and symbolically. The hollow of her collarbone. 4. The hollow of her collarbone. There is a quiet elegance in the hollow of a woman's collarbone. A place so close to her heart that a kiss there feels less like affection and more like reverence. I cannot tell you how many women, especially in their later years, have leaned in during conversation and told me how deeply moved they felt when their partner kissed them in this very spot. It isn't a place most men think about. It is not bold, it is not loud, and it doesn't scream for attention. But precisely because of that, it carries a weight that lingers. When a man takes his time, bows his head, and places his lips gently in that hollow, the moment takes on a spiritual quality. She feels not like a body to be desired, but a soul to be cherished. I remember one patient telling me that it made her feel as though her husband was kissing the very center of her being. The intimacy of that moment stayed with her, she said, because it wasn't about passion alone. It was about devotion. The collarbone sits near the chest, near the steady beat of the heart, and symbolically it speaks of being close to what is most essential. That is why a kiss here can stir something much deeper than simple desire. It awakens a sense of being treasured, valued, not just for how she looks on the outside, but for who she truly is on the inside. From a physiological perspective, the skin along the collarbone is sensitive and responsive to gentle touch. A slow kiss here can send signals throughout her nervous system, calming her, grounding her, while at the same time creating a spark of anticipation. But beyond science, there is an unspoken language at work. It says, "I honor you. I want to be close, not only to your body, but to your heart." For a woman in her 50s or 60s who may have lived years without feeling truly adored, this simple kiss can mean everything. It is not about taking. It is about giving her a memory of tenderness that she can carry long after the kiss is gone. And if a single kiss along her collarbone can feel this sacred, just wait until you discover the next hidden place, one so often ignored that even she may not realize how sensitive it is. The delicate inside of her elbow. 5. The inside of her elbow. There is something profoundly intimate about the inside of a woman's elbow, though very few men ever think to place their lips there. It is a spot we usually associate with nothing more than daily movement, a bend in the arm that hardly seems worthy of attention. And yet, when I speak with women about the moments in their lives that made them feel uniquely cherished, this small and overlooked place comes up more often than you might imagine. A kiss on the inner elbow is unexpected, and that is exactly what makes it so powerful. It communicates that you are willing to notice the parts of her body that even she may overlook, the parts that have carried her through years of work, caregiving, and quiet sacrifice. The skin here is tender, soft, and surprisingly sensitive. A gentle kiss along this delicate fold sends a shiver of sensation that often takes her by surprise. It doesn't feel like a demand, it feels like discovery. To her, it says, "I notice you in ways no one else has, and I value every hidden detail." Women in their 50s and 60s often tell me that what moves them most is not the grand displays of passion, but the subtle gestures that remind them they are still worth paying attention to. And when a man takes the time to honor her in a place so humble, she feels not only desired, but deeply seen. I remember a woman in her 70s who smiled as she described her husband's habit of kissing her arm just at the bend. She told me it always made her laugh softly at first because it was so unexpected, but then it would send a wave of warmth through her chest. "It made me feel like he was the only man who really noticed me," she said. That is the essence of intimacy, finding joy and closeness in the quietest places, The inside of her elbow is not a place of conquest. It is a place of connection. It allows you to show her that intimacy is not about rushing, but about slowing down and savoring the details that others overlook. And if such a small, tender place can carry this much meaning, imagine the impact of a gesture so simple, so grounding, that it doesn't even require your lips at all. Just the steady presence of your hand resting gently on her lower back. 6. Bonus gesture. The hand on her lower back. Sometimes intimacy is not about lips at all, but about presence. And nowhere is that more true than when your hand rests gently on the small of her back. Over the years, I have had women tell me that this simple gesture, done with care, meant more to them than flowers, jewelry, or even words. The lower back is a place where many women carry tension, the quiet weight of years of responsibility, of holding families together, of facing the world's demands without complaint. When your hand settles there, not to control, but to support, it sends a message deeper than desire. It tells her, you don't have to carry it all alone. I am here. I recall one patient in her 60s who described walking through a crowded street with her husband. She told me that when he placed his hand on her back to guide her, she felt instantly calm. I knew he was with me, she said. I knew I wasn't invisible. That simple act made her feel protected and seen, as if he were silently promising to stand steady no matter what. And that is the beauty of this gesture. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. The lower back also connects to the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the body that helps regulate stress and restore calm. A warm, steady hand in that place can literally soothe her body, allowing her to breathe more deeply, to relax, and to let her guard down. For a woman who has spent decades giving to others, that release is priceless. It is a reminder that she is still cared for, still worthy of comfort, still loved in the most practical, grounding way. I have always believed that intimacy is not built in grand moments, but in quiet signals like this one. Signals that say, you are safe with me. The hand on her lower back is not about passion, though passion often follows. It is about devotion. It is about being her anchor in a world that sometimes feels too heavy. And if a single touch can mean this much, then just imagine what happens when you gather all these gestures together. The kisses, the tenderness, the devotion, and let them lead you into the final truth about lasting intimacy. Conclusion. When you step back and look at these moments together, you begin to see a pattern. Intimacy after 50 isn't about speed. It isn't about proving yourself, and it certainly isn't about performance. It is about slowing down and honoring the places that speak to her heart more than they do to her body. I've listened to so many women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s tell me, often with tears in their eyes, that what they crave most is not fireworks, but presence. They don't want to be rushed past. They want to be cherished, to feel seen, and to know they are safe enough to open themselves fully. That is why these 5 kissing spots, along with the one bonus gesture, carry such weight. The nape of her neck is where trust lives. A kiss there whispers devotion, letting her know she can surrender and still be safe. Just behind her ear is where secrets and belonging dwell. A kiss there reminds her that she is special, chosen, and worthy of closeness. The inner wrist is where her very essence beats beneath your lips, telling her you notice even the smallest details. The hollow of her collarbone sits close to her heart, making her feel treasured for who she truly is. The inside of her elbow is tender and overlooked, yet a kiss there tells her she is uniquely seen. And finally, the hand on her lower back, though not a kiss at all, offers reassurance and safety. The kind of steady presence that melts defenses and says, you are not alone. I cannot tell you how many times women have told me that these quiet gestures mattered more than grand romantic gestures. They remembered the slow, reverent kiss more than the hurried embrace. They remembered the gentle hand on their back more than any expensive gift. Why? because those moments spoke directly to their heart. They created safety, belonging, and love without a single word. And at this stage of life, that is what intimacy is really about. It is not about proving your desire. It is about proving your devotion. I have seen the way a woman's eyes soften when she feels truly noticed. I have heard the catch in her voice when she describes being kissed on her wrist for the first time. These are not tricks. They are timeless truths about human connection. And the beauty is that any man, no matter his age, can give this kind of intimacy if he chooses to slow down and be present. That choice alone can transform not just her experience, but yours as well. Because when she feels safe, when she feels cherished, her desire awakens naturally. Passion stops being something you chase and becomes something that flows between you both. So remember this, when you kiss her with reverence instead of urgency, when you linger instead of rush, you don't just spark her body, you touch her soul. And those are the moments that last a lifetime. True intimacy after 50 is not about the fireworks that fade, but about the quiet embers that keep burning long and steady, warming both of you for years to come. If you found this message valuable, I'd be grateful if you gave this video a like and shared it with others who might need it. Your comments mean the world to me. Tell me which moments spoke to you most or what you'd like me to cover next. And if you believe in this mission of helping couples over 50 rediscover true intimacy, consider supporting by making a small donation. Every bit helps me create more of the content you love, delivered with honesty, care, and expertise. Together, we can keep this conversation alive and growing. Thank you for being here.